Yes, hello and welcome everybody. It's Chris here from the Ministry of Dice, and I'm back again today with another one of my little video presentation thingamadoodads. And as you can see on the screen there, that's right folks, it's the return of the What the series. And in this one I'm going to talk about my most What the Dice Masters artwork to date. That's right, I'm going to talk about, in all my years of playing Dice Masters, those cards with pictures on them that when I get them out, when I look at them in the binder or when I put them on the table, I'm saying to myself, what's going on there? What is that picture all about? What is happening with this image? You know? And because you demanded it, because you asked for it, or basically because one or two people said it was kind of fun and thought it might be a laugh for me to do another one of these videos, I'm here again today to share my what the fuck. This video is dedicated to Barton, by the way, who in the comments in the last video said he wanted to see more of Old Man 6 complaining stuff. So here I am, Barton. I'm here to give you some more Old Man 6 complaining stuff. Now, a little bit of small print before I get into it. This is my subjective view. These are just cards that I've clocked through my years of playing that have made me go, what is going on with that? So please do head to the comments below. Let me know if there's any cards with artwork that stood out to you as a bit random or unusual or oddly shaped or whatever. Also, please, folks, it's just a bit of fun. It's just a bit of fun. Come along with the journey. The video is intended just to give you a bit of a chuckle to lighten your day. I'm not here to slag off Wizkids or anything. In fact, in defence of Wizkids, I place the blame squarely with the artists and the publishers who produced this artwork in the first place, but we'll not get into that today. But yeah, just come along with the ride. You know, it's just there to give you a chuckle. Don't be that guy. Don't be that serious guy taking it too seriously. Just come along with me for 10 minutes and have a little bit of a chuckle about some of the artwork in the game of Dice Masters. All right, okay then. Well, let's get into it, shall we? I'll show you my first one on the list, shall I? Here we go. Iron Man from the Uncanny X-Men set. So, looking at this, you might start off by saying, well, what's wrong with that, Chris? That's a fine image. It's got dynamic and there's action going on, and, you know, Iron Man's about to use his laser blaster to defeat a villain, and, you know, fundamentally, you're right. But one thing about this card image that has bothered me ever since I first saw it was his arm. He has a really short arm. In fact, the more you look at it, doesn't it look like a bit of his arm's missing? Like he's got a shoulder, and he's got that top bit, whatever that's called, and then his wrist and his hand, and there's like a whole section of arm missing. It's like disproportionately short. What is going on there? I mean, seriously, what the is that all about? I mean, if you're an artist drawing comic book superheroes for a publisher the size of Marvel, surely, like, top of the interview questions is, can you draw arms and legs? You know? There's a whole thing in the world of comic book art where hands and feet are notoriously difficult, but I'm not going to get into that today. But surely arms, surely you can do an arm, or at least know that, you know, shoulder, top bit of arm. What's that called? Someone tell me in the comments. Long bit of arm. Forearm? Is that the forearm? Wrist and hand. You know what I mean? But he's missing a whole section of arm. What is that all about? I don't know. Anyway, someone tell me about what the actual, you know, I know there's some sciencey people out there. Tell me what the names of the bits of the arms are. But now that I've drawn attention to it, you can't stop looking at it, can you? His short arm. He's missing a bit of arm. Right, on to the next one. Here we go. What else have I got on the list? Create Food and Water. This one's on the list for my man Andy, a.k.a. Chris's partner in crime. Create Food and Water. Andy would describe this as like a piece of A-level school project work. Just, you know, some floating cakes and pastries. Sort of, kind of, there. Also, the card's called Create Food and Water. Where's the water? There's no water in it. And, also, they don't look all that appetising, really, do they? Once you've got past the fact that the game text is, you know, pretty decent, be honest with me, when you first saw that card, didn't you go, what the is that? It's a cake and some pastries floating in the air. Blueberries and some weirdly shaped strawberries. What is going on? Seriously, man. Like, Wizards of the Coast, they got an artist to produce that. I don't, it just bends my head. Just bends my head. Right, on to the next one. Let's take a look. Let's see what we got. Oh, yeah, okay. Kingpin from the Spider-Man set, right? So, in all the decades of Kingpin being like, you know, big, bad New York villain, featured heavily in storylines in Spider-Man comic books and Daredevil comic books and Punisher comic books, how is it that the only picture Marvel could give Wizkids to use for their Kingpin card was one where he's not even looking face front to the viewer. I mean, that could be anyone. That could be any bold dude wearing a white jacket, really, couldn't it? We're looking at his shoulder and his arm and his back. He's got his back to us. The picture the Marvel gave Wizkids to put on that card has got its back to us. I mean, what the is that all about? You couldn't give me... I mean, I've seen some... Like, there's this picture I've seen of Kingpin. He's sort of standing. He's got his legs astride. He's stood in his big billionaire tower looking out over the city with a cane and looking all intimidating and like the massive size of the guy, the bulk of the guy, and he's all threatening and stuff. Nah, do you know what? We'll just get this picture of his shoulder and his ear and his back and put that on the card. You know what I mean? What is that all about? Right, on to the next one. What else have we got? Magic helmet. Okay, so this one just upsets me. So the magic helmet, the game text on the card, they bestow the wearer with these like mystical special powers. They enhance their abilities. Some of them are really strong. I mean, that one there, the rare that I've selected, this equipped character takes no damage during the attack step. So can someone please explain to me why the dude in the picture looks like the guy from Casino who got his head clamped? I think it looks like he's getting clubbed round the back of the head, and he's like, ow, like super in pain. So the picture, I mean, the helmet's not doing what it says it's supposed to do. It's not stopping him from taking damage, is it? I mean, the poor guy looks like he's caught his delicates along the floor or something. It's a magic helmet. It's supposed to, like, make him harder or more impressive or bestow him with some mystical talent. But instead, he looks like he's in an awful lot of pain. I mean, like an awful lot of pain. Look at his eyes. That dude is not having damage prevented to him by that helmet. Full stop. The picture just doesn't do what it says on the tin. So, you know, seriously, what the... I've got doubts that helmet is in fact magic. Right, next on the list, let's have a look what else I've got. Nick Fury. Okay, so from the Age of Ultron set, and according to the comic book lore, this guy is like a battle-hardened war veteran. But, right, do this for me right now, everyone, while you're watching the video. Stand up and try and, like, pretend you're holding a gun with your arms, like, walking forward like that. Now, tell me, how uncomfortable does that feel? In order to hold that pistol the way he's holding it, he has to have one arm significantly longer than the other. And to put, like, his shoulder out in front of him like that with his head sort of walking forward, it's uncomfortable. Now, this guy knows how to hold a gun. He knows how to wield his weapon. He's hardcore, is Nick Fury. Like, super hardcore, well-trained super spy soldier agent dude. And he's doing that with his oddly longer arm. I mean, not just a bit long. Like, some of us have longer limbs than the other. That's a thing. That's just normal. But that's, like, super longer. I mean, you can even tell by the sort of white glove bit how it's just wrong. It's just wrong. And you probably never really clocked it before, but now I've drawn attention to it. You can't stop looking at it, can you? Do it. Stand up. Try and walk forward, pretending you're holding your weapon like that. I bet he gets a right bad backache doing that all day long. Like a bit of a twinge in his shoulder. Physio bills must be incredible. Right, on to my next one. Let's see what else I've got. Oh, yeah, well, while we're talking about weird, disproportionate stuff going on, Captain America Super... I mean, look at it. What is going on here? Like his legs and arms. That looks like the body of Chris Evans with the head, arms and legs of my son, who's 6. What? I mean, what's going on with that? Those spindly... I mean, that front-footed leg where he's sort of stepping up over these guys that he's bashing about looks... I mean, it's not right, is it? It looks kind of sort of really spindly and withered. And his arms but he's got all that big muscular body and his head looks like he's been shrunk like a witch doctor. I mean, seriously, what the... I'll say it again. I said it before. If you're a comic book artist, when Marvel are hiring you, when they look at your portfolio, it's not the first thing they check out your ability to draw muscular figures proportionately that look like they're moving in a reasonable and natural manner for the combat scenario you're placing them in. I mean, it's oddly hypnotically not right, isn't it? I mean, it's a great card. All of those Captain Americas had awesome game texts. And you had to put that on your team and stare at his weird spindly leg thing and his odd arms. I just don't get it. I just don't. Again, Marvel, is that the... When Wizkids came knocking and said, can we have some great card art for our Dice Masters game, please? That was the best you could give Wizkids. Seriously. Multi-billion-dollar corporation, and that's... Oh, anyway. Let's have a look what's next. Oh, okay, so that's right. Not just Marvel, but DC are at it too. What's going on with the shape of his body and the stance he's getting? I don't get it. Why is he sticking his chest? Another one who's got massive physio bills, apparently, or chiropractic bills. Look, again, like with Nick Fury, stand up and try and do that now. Get a box and try and sort of do like you're standing on a decorative gargoyle, looking all like, oh, I'm gonna, beat up some muggers tonight. It's just weird. I mean, one of his pecs is like in an odd diagonal up bit to the other pec, but the way his six-pack, it's just... Again, you probably never really stopped and looked at it before, but when you do, it looks weird. He just looks oddly proportioned and shaped. It's confusing. And also, right, if he needs to just, like, leap off that gargoyle to stop a mugger or whatever, I mean, can you just readily... I don't know. It's just, again... I know I'm repeating myself, but when DC sit these artists down in an interview and say, right, let's have a look at your portfolio, let's see, we're looking for someone to draw Nightwing, let's flick through your portfolio, surely the first thing they're looking for is the ability to just draw a human being proportionally. Isn't it? Well, apparently not. I mean, what's going on with his muscles? His six-pack looks just... Where it meets his chest looks weird. Like, really weird. Right, okay, anyway, on to the next one. Oh, okay, here we go. I mean, this one has been talked about enough times, so I'm not going to dwell on it. And actually, as a piece of artwork, it's an incredible piece of artwork, really. Why did it have to be so over-sexualized? I mean, why? I don't get it. I mean, the only conclusion that I could possibly reach is that on the day they were choosing artwork for this organised play kit, everyone was out the office and the 12-year-old youth training intern was left with the responsibility of picking the picture. That's the only conclusion I can come to. I mean, actually, when you step back and look at it and try and focus on other aspects of the artwork, I mean, look at her hair and the detail on her face. And if you look at there's a character behind her in the background and the stained glass window and the way the light's reflecting off her jumpsuit and stuff, that's actually a really impressive piece of artwork. But it is just spoilt by the fact that all you can look at is one particular area of the card. Why did they have to over-sexualise it like that? I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Oh, actually, talking about innuendo. Well, that last one's not innuendo, but talking about here's the OG innuendo card. Injection Fairy Lily. This one is entirely 100% what the is going on there. Now, if that is a syringe for her to do injecting, because she looks kind of like she's got a nurse thing going on, then that needle is terrifying. Nobody wants to get injected by that. Nobody. I mean, it looks more like a switchblade than it does a needle. It looks like it would slice you open. But let's face facts. It doesn't look like a needle. Nor does it look like a switchblade. It looks like another battery-operated piece of kit. And then they went and, placed her on it in that way. I mean, seriously, what is going on there? What the is that all about? I mean, I've never watched Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm unfamiliar with it. And again, I don't blame WizKids for this. This is clearly the animators and the story writers in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Team who've done this. And I can't help but wonder if there's something intentionally subversive there, But, I mean, that one just makes me laugh. I'm not going to dwell on it. We all know why that one's funny. Well, certainly all the adults watching this know why that's funny. Okay, well, that brings me to the end of my presentation today. I hope I gave you a chuckle and a bit of a lift to get you through the day. Again, I'll reiterate, it's just a bit of fun, folks. I'm not trying to be overly critical or anything. Don't be that guy that takes it too seriously. Please do let me know in the comments below if there is a piece of artwork that you've clocked in the game that gives you a chuckle and makes you go, what is going on there? Do the like and subscribe thing. Join us on a Monday for the Ministry of Dice podcast every 2 weeks. Otherwise, I'll catch you on another video soon. But if you've got the time, please do stick around. On the right-hand side of the screen, there's going to be a couple of other videos that the YouTube algorithm thinks that you might enjoy after watching this one. Okay then, ta-ra, folks.